Hello, Senior Stoner fan. Just the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Helix Carta dab of the day. Today is Sunday. Hello, everybody. Here's one we're all going to understand. Guilt. The guilt trip. Do you remember when you were growing up, the parental guilt trip? They guilted you into doing anything that they wanted you to do, your parents, because they figured it out that guilting kids makes them feel sorry and do whatever the parents want them to do. Think about it. If we have consciences, which I believe most of us do, then guilt is what we feel when we don't fulfill what we think we should. We feel guilty for a number of reasons. Let's discuss. Guilt is not guilt in the same sense as criminal guilt in a courtroom. The guilt I'm discussing is the guilt we feel when we feel, kind of the word would be embarrassed, would be sorry. We're guilty of not finishing, we're guilty of not doing, we're guilty of leaving a mess, we're guilty of being fresh to our sibling. Think of the things when you were kids you were guilty of. But that's not the big issue. The big issue, I almost want to call it shaming. People tend to use guilt as a way to make you feel guilty so you respond a certain way. Think about it. You've done something, okay? And you look towards others for a response. Their response is to shame you. Their response is to make you feel sorry for what you did. Their response is to tell you you're not good for doing that. You feel guilty. Well, it's morals and standards. It's morals and standards that one person holds true that another one might not. What I feel guilty for, you won't feel guilty for. And in reverse, what you feel guilty for, I might not. It's pretty individual. But the problem with guilt is, or the reality with guilt is, it's the great equalizer. Most everybody is going to have it eventually. And it manifests itself, if you think about it, it manifests itself only when we truly understand. Someone can say, oh, look what you've done, and you'll blow them off and go, ah. Someone will say, oh my God, look, you did it wrong, and you go, ah. Someone will say, oh, look at this, shame on you, and you'll go, eh. But if all three of those concepts or things were told to you and you went, oh my God, what have I done? Oh, gee. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I didn't do that. You'll feel guilty. So you can be pushed. You can be maneuvered into feeling guilty. Guilty feelings are not feelings that happen out of the womb. We're conditioned, we're taught. It's a learned experience to understand what to feel guilty for. Think of it. Do you look guilty? Think of it. The old saying, you look guilty, what did you do? How about looking at the dog that just pooped in the house? The dog has its eyes down, looking all that it's going to get hit. They feel guilty. Even dogs, even animals they show guilt. Might not be guilt, but they're showing guilt. So think about this. You're made to feel guilty. You could feel guilty on your own. There's guilt because you can carry with you what parents or what others when you were young told you did wrong. So I'm 62 years old. I still feel guilty of some things I did in my adolescence and childhood. What do you think of that? Because I feel like it could have hurt my mother. I feel like I could have hurt my sister and things like that. And they're dead now, of course. So guilt is something that I think when you're guilty, you're feeling guilty, you need to find out why. I think the key here is when you're feeling guilty, you need to find a way to maneuver yourself so you don't feel guilty. That's the whole point of the discussion. Guilt can be thrust upon you. Guilt can be like a person, a hero soldier jumping on a hand grenade to stop others from being hurt. You can jump on the guilt and say, I'm guilty to prevent somebody else from being guilty. Think about it. There's a lot of things that go on when we bring up the topic of guilty and feeling guilty and being told you're guilty and having guilt. So, listen, the way you maneuver your way around it is simply by living life, and you live it the way I talk about it always. Circular living. If you feel guilty, guess what happens at the top? You have an opportunity and there's hope you're not going to feel guilty on the next round. Circular living. We continue, and every day is a new day. We keep moving around. What you did today and feel sorry for that you did, tomorrow you'll wake up and say, you know what, it's over. So you got to move guilt with time. And you got to remember that time does, in many cases, heal all wounds. Let's take a nice hit in our clean Helix top on our Carta today. And I will tell you that we're now using Peace Water. Thank you for the recommendation. Peace Water is in all of my glass effective last night. Everything has been completely cleaned. And now Peace Water resides inside my glass. Let's have a dab. Good morning, everybody. And what do you feel guilty about? There's something. What a nice hit. Good morning, everybody. Remember, guilt is the great equalizer. Do the best you can. Many of us, most of us, have guilt in our lives. Cheers.